later. And I just want to make sure this is not blurry. There, that is better. Okay, so let's do sound check. Let's go over here first. Let's make sure we have sound. Sound is important to have. Make sure we have sound. And we do. So we got to check one other place. I see captions, so that tells me typically we have sound. Okay, we have sound. We are live. It was looking a little sketch there for a minute. It was looking like we might not be making it live because technology, but we're here and we are so happy to be here. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Tamara Hamilton. I blog about the business of you. You are a business. And if you don't know it, you will soon be finding out that having a personal brand, that monetizing yourself, your life, your interests, your strengths, the things that you know and can do better than anyone else is going to be the way forward and through. Forward and through. You are going to have to monetize yourself, your life, the things that you know and can do very, very well, right? And I believe in an omnipresence strategy. So that means that you have your pair and a spare. I talk about this all the time. Your pair is your primary and your secondary, and they cannot be owned by the same company. And then you have a third platform that you maintain a presence on, though you may not be actively building it. Okay, that is very important. And we will get into why a bit down the road in today's talk, because we don't do presentations, we talk, we have discussions, we have conversations. Okay. So my name is Tamara Hamilton. I have over 32, going on 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. And I am very happy to be here and share my wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and yes, results and practical experience. Many people know me for my course, Pin Profitz Mastery, for the lifestyle brand that I created, Haute Chocolats Lifestyles. And no, I don't like chocolate. I don't know why that's so funny to y'all, but your brand is hot chocolate. So I'm hot chocolate. Do you not get that? I'm the chocolate. I'm hot chocolate. That's the chocolate that I like. But as far as like eating chocolate, the smell of hot chocolate I found profusely gross. It smells horrible. I hate the smell of chocolate chip cooking. That chocolate smell literally makes me want to hurl. So yes, I have not only an aversion to chocolate, I actually have an allergy to chocolate. Okay. So that is a little bit of my background. I have helped hundreds of clients with their branding, with their marketing, with their digital marketing infrastructure. Okay, because you need a digital marketing infrastructure. Comment and let me know if you understand what I mean by digital marketing infrastructure with a one in the comments, because your digital marketing infrastructure is what allows you to be able to make money in your sleep 24/7, 365, from the beach, from the Eiffel Tower, from the mountains in South America, wherever you may be. Your business can not only go with you, but your business can operate virtually. And that means that you do not have to physically be present to make money. But in order for that to happen, you do have to have what I call a digital marketing infrastructure. Okay. And I know it overwhelms a lot of you, but what's bigger, your dream, your passion, your mission, your vision, or the overwhelm? Right? We've got to get out of this. Oh, it's overwhelming. It's too much. Because I get it. I know that a lot of y'all don't like marketing. I get it. I know not everybody wakes up and loves marketing and oozes marketing and breathes, eats, and sleeps marketing for 33 years like Tamara Hamilton does. I 100% understand that. And that is why I am here. So, what I need you to do is to make a commitment and an agreement with yourself right now that you are going to either learn to love marketing or learn to love it enough to really get your own vision, embody it, and be able to transfer that vision and that embodiment to those that you hire. Okay. Because one of the things that I know off top is a lot of my ideal client like to hire VAs because that y'all learned that masculine thing. If you don't like to do it, you delegate it, you hire somebody else to do it, which it's not that I disagree with that, but I think some of you do that and you over automate and you do it too soon, and you also hire too soon. And the reason I say too soon is because you don't know where you are going. You don't have a very clear strategy. You don't have a very clear focus. You don't have clarity at all. You don't have a true vision. And I'm going to tell you how I know, because your mission is to help your clients live their best life. That is not neither a vision, a mission, or a strategy. And I'm not making fun of you. I only giggle like that because I hear it all the time. Not even directly. I hear it all the time that you want to help your clients live their best life ever when you don't even know what their best life ever means. And the fact is, every client is going to have a different vision of what living their best life ever looks like. Okay. Every client is going to have a different vision and reality, a different dream for what that looks like. And you have to understand that. So when you use vague language like that, you're really speaking to no one because you're trying to speak to everyone. And that's one of the first things I actually help my clients get clarity around is who they serve, right? And one of the big mistakes that I see is that y'all want to serve everybody, and because you probably need to make money, and so you're willing to do whatever for whoever to make money. And what does that sound like? That's not the kind of business that you're in, is it? That's not the kind of business that you signed up for. So let's get you aligned. Okay. Well, let's talk about this omnipresence strategy. Okay. Because omnipresence, if you've been on social media, if you've been on the platforms, there's the A word. My granddaughter is 5, and somebody taught her that a certain cuss word is the B word. So any cuss word to her is the B word now. She said the B word. Oh, don't say the B word, Nana. And I didn't even say the B word. I might have said the S word, right? And so the A word is algorithm, right? So let's get this out of the way. Okay. We already talked about, because you're going to hear me talk about this on every single live, and that is you have to have your primary or secondary, right? You got to be in, you got to have your pair and a spare, and you are the brand, you are the content, and you are the algorithm. So y'all make the algorithm very, very scary. Y'all look at the algorithm as an ogre, like Shrek, as an egregore, right? Honestly, if you're on TikTok, you know what I mean when I'm talking about the egregore, right? You know the context of the egregore. And that is how y'all treat the algorithm and view the algorithm as some sort of egregore, as an ogre. And all the algorithm is artificial intelligence. It's AI. I've been telling y'all that forever and a day. The algorithm is artificial intelligence. It is it's learning. It gives you more of what you interact with and what you know. So when someone is teaching you to beat the algorithm, they're not really helping you, because my algorithm is going to be different than the next person's and the next person's and the next person's. Because what I like and what I interact with is going to be different than the next person. And I, like many of your ideal clients, are now fully aware that the algorithm is learning them. And so they are actually very picky about what they interact with, what they engage with, what they actually comment on, what they like, what they share. So the way to beat the algorithm is to be the algorithm, right? And it's kind of a double entendre. I need you to understand that this has some sort of filter on it and I don't like it. Where are the things? How do I get this off? Yeah. Oh, there it is. I don't like that. There, that's better. I had to get that off of there. I did not like that. Okay. So the algorithm is tailored to you, it is customized to you. So if you are a marketer and you understand that the algorithm is going to be different from Susie, than for Jane, than for Marilyn, than for Rachel to Kendra, the algorithm is going to be different for every single person. You have to figure out how to show up in the algorithm for your ideal client. Well, the best way to do that is to provide content that engages them, entertains them, educates them, and empowers them. You become the algorithm, right? And I'm going to take a little detour really quickly if you don't mind. Okay? Your ideal client, if you are a boomer, your ideal client does not want to be bombarded with buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. In fact, I really don't even think boomers are my ideal client, to be honest with you, because y'all want to do the craziest stuff marketing wise. And you look at social media as well. I do, when I do my posts about business, nobody comments because you separated your business and your personal. So when you're on your personal talking about business, the people in your personal circle, your personal network on Facebook are not your ideal client. And that's why they don't engage with it. And even still, you have not given them a reason to support you and share it because it's boring, because it's stiff, because it's gobbledygook, because it's centered on you and your needs and not your ideal client. Because even when your personal audience, write this down, even when your personal audience is not your ideal client, when you engage them, when you empower them, when you inspire them, when you educate them, they are more than happy to tag you when they see posts where your ideal client is looking for you. They are more than happy to share your content. They are more than happy to tag you, to refer you, to start a message, and to show up in your inbox to support you. But you think it's because they hate you when it's really that they hate your content. Because your content disrupts their algorithm with buy my product, buy my product. Come to my event, come to my event. That's what they hate. They hate your content. They hate how intrusive your content is. They hate how gross your content is. And yeah, I said it because some of y'all's content is gross. Not a lot, but some of it, right? Nobody on your personal page wants to join your newsletter because what the hell even is a newsletter? And what does it do for them? Why should they care about it? Right? They don't want to join your newsletter. They could care less about your newsletter because I certainly don't care about a newsletter. What is that? It's so generic sounding. It gives me no reason to care, to show up, or to sign up. And if I sign up out of pity, I'm not opening them and reading them. Right? So when you are the algorithm, they not only look forward to your content, they engage with your content, and they are not only likely to hit that share button, they're going to be more strategic when they hit that share button. They may not feel like it belongs on their personal feed, but what they are willing to do, like I said, is when someone is looking for you, they know to tag you. They know to share your content with someone. I was talking to my good friend Beryl down in Orlando yesterday, and she's like, I was just talking to someone about you in Pinterest. And I said, so and so. And she said, well, yeah, but I'm not talking about them. It was someone else. So she talked to two different people about me and what I do. And y'all want to run around and I don't pay for ads. I don't want to pay for ads. I did it all organically, but ain't nobody referring you because your marketing is gross. The little marketing that you do. You have to understand it. That's what I mean when I say be the algorithm. The best way to beat the algorithm is to have an audience that engages with your content and shares your content, which makes the algorithm notice your content and then push your content out. But not just to anybody. You want it to be pushed out strategically. Okay. And that's true whether it's TikTok, whether it's Pinterest. It's true for both. For Facebook, it's true for all of them, because at the end of the day, they all kind of operate the same. However, you have to know a couple things. Number one, Pinterest is a visual search engine. TikTok is more of a social commerce site than it is a visual, than any type of search engine. Pinterest, though, is getting very deep in the social selling. They're going there. And they're going there rapidly. Let's see. I feel like we need some light on. Okay. There. That looks better. Okay. So Pinterest is going there with social selling. Okay. But the number one thing I want you to understand is, because I was talking to Beryl about this yesterday, and I said, what I love about Pinterest is you literally just let your content cook. Just let your content cook. I have posts that I set and I forget, and all of a sudden my phone is blowing up with notifications because I put it out there. I made sure it was search engine optimized, that it had visual appeal, and I let it cook. And then when it cooks, you know how a tea kettle starts screaming at you? Your content will eventually do that if you follow my 7 points that are in the custom GPT that I built that you get with Pin Profitz Mastery. And then it will start screaming at you, right? Your email provider will start sending you notifications of all these leads that have opted in. You will even see some sales, depending on if you are in service or commerce. But you have to understand the search, and that search is changing. Gen Z does not use Google for search. They use social media platforms for search. So y'all out here nilly-willy posting without strategy. There's that word again. Without strategy, without keywords. So you can't be discovered. Pinterest is a discovery engine. Did you know that Amazon, I tell y'all this every time we talk about Pinterest. Did you know that Amazon is a search engine? Go to Google and look for a product and see that some of the top results are for Amazon. And we're not talking about the boycott. We're talking strategy. We're talking business. Okay. So you have to understand that search is changing. Another thing that is changing search is AI. I posted in my story the other day a quote from Sam Altman, and I think someone from Congress. I'm not even going to say his name because I can't stand him. He's from Texas, though, so you know who I'm talking about. And it was about whether or not ChatGPT would replace Google. And he said, I think we're going to give, basically to sum it up, he said, I think we're going to give them a run for their money. But I think there are some things that Google is just inherently going to continue to be better at. And that's within the scope of Google. And Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. What is up with this? Maybe I'm just back too far. Ooh, no. Okay. So search is changing. I need you to understand a couple things of what I am basically telling you, if you're not picking up what I'm throwing down already. For 2 years now, I have been telling you about these 5 marketing shifts that are coming. They're here. The 5 marketing shifts are here. The question is, are you? Are you here? Are you ready? Are you doing the do? Are you doing the work? Are you learning AI? Are you building that digital marketing infrastructure? Because if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, I told you, and some of this is coming directly from that presentation on the 5 marketing shifts, you need to be on more than one platform. You need to have your pair and a spare. If you don't, you're going to have some problems. 2, I talk heavily in that presentation about search and that you need to be discoverable. If you're not discoverable, and I'm not talking hairstylist in Milwaukee, Wisconsin searchable. If you want to know more about that, you can book a strategy session. But you need to be discoverable. You need to be found, because I talk a lot about intent. Your ideal client that is on social just perusing has a different intent than the one who's searching for what it is that you offer. For years now, whenever I am live, either they are cutting down trees outside, a bird is acting crazy, or right now somebody's revving up their car, or somebody's lawnmower is really loud. So you just got to know that I attract that stuff. It's all good. Those are signs that you are here and you should be listening. Okay. So search is not optional. Omnipresence is not optional. Right? And if you want organic traffic, you have to get really good at search and creating content that engages, educates, entertains, and empowers and inspires. If you don't do those things, you're going, and I know that's why some of y'all don't like marketing, because sometimes I don't like marketing when I hear that I got to be entertaining. Like, I'm not an entertainer. I can educate. I will educate. I think there's something. I just don't. I'm probably going to toss this because I don't like the way I look over here. But you have to know what each platform is for, and you have to use it for what it is for. Okay. And so I have recently revised the pair and a spare strategy, that you need to have a search strategy when picking your platforms. One of your platforms your primary or secondary, one of them has to be search focused. So either YouTube, Pinterest, or running Google ads, because that is a strategy. It's not quite social, but it is a strategy. Okay. It is a strategy. But your primary or secondary, one has to be about search, because it's getting to the point that if you don't have search capable, if you're not able to be found, and you're not really good at creating content, if you're not really good at getting your content to be pushed out by the algorithm and building an audience to help you do that, you're going to be dead on arrival. It's actually already here, and I'm being nice. and enabling, and I need to stop that. You're going to be dead on arrival. So no matter what course you buy, what coaching program, if you are not showing up, if you're not creating scroll worthy, scroll stopping content, and it doesn't have to have the most likes and comments, because my most profitable content sometimes does not get any likes or comments. It gets invisible engagement by way of views, and it's still not even the most high view count. It is the content that strategically is landing where it's supposed to land. Ooh. Yes, I said it. The content that strategically lands exactly where it is supposed to land. Okay. You might catch that on the way out. But this whole posting for virality that I've been retching at, y'all running after for years now, if you haven't noticed, even those whose branding is virality, if you look at their content, they ain't so viral, are they? Right? Because y'all don't understand the product life cycle of social media and what social media is. I heard someone say this, someone who's an authority in the space, and yes, I am an authority in the space also, say that social media is less social now and it's just media. It might have been Gary Vaynerchuk who said it. It's not about being social anymore. It's about it being media. And so the social media companies want to get paid just like TV and radio advertising. And so, yes, you can get more reach than others, but this widespread, I told y'all before, Mark and Priscilla are not about that life, letting y'all get all this organic reach and making all these Benjamins, and they're not getting their cut. This is capitalism. It's paternalism. It's patriarchy. Massa won't they cut. And then y'all get on Facebook and all these other platforms and you tell all the secrets. Like they're not listening. And then they adapt and adjust. And then you cry about it. Yeah, because you're not you went and told them everything. Y'all don't know how to gatekeep. Y'all don't know how to gatekeep. The only people that talk about gatekeeping are people who want to manipulate you into giving them the goods for free so they can go and monetize it. And I don't know why y'all haven't figured that out yet. I'm going to say it again, otra vez. The only people that get on these good platforms and talk to you about the need to not gatekeep are the people who want to take your information and capitalize and monopolize it. They want you to give them their goods, just like in Sinners, and they're standing outside the door. They want your energy. They want what you created so that they can monetize it for themselves, right? You have to understand that. So you have to learn to gatekeep. And the thing to know, what I've been bad about posting on TikTok myself lately. I'm trying to work myself into it, but TikTok has become a monster like Instagram had been at one point, where it's soul sucking, it's energy sucking, because you got to post 10 times a day, and you got to do all these stand on one leg, bark like a dog, howl at the moon. And I'm not saying there aren't things that you need to do for Pinterest, but I'm saying I've made it easy with my GPT, with my custom GPT, and with Pin Profitz Mastery. Okay. But TikTok has gotten to the point that, I don't know, I find it exhausting. I get leads from it. I've gotten customers from it. But it still doesn't beat what I get from Pinterest and Facebook. And that's that. So let's talk about the TikTok to Pinterest pipeline. Okay. Because I think that's where there's a lot of opportunity. And I am all about working smarter and not harder. And in Pin Profitz Mastery, we have an entire module 5, on repurposing, resharing, and redistributing your content. Okay. That's that work smarter, not harder. Beryl could do a commercial for me because she talked about this yesterday when we were on the phone, right? By the way, I had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Lots of time with family. So many people reaching out, and I'm so grateful for all my friends and loved ones. Special shout out to my nephew Steven, who put together family time for us on Saturday. Did an awesome job. Forgot what I was talking about. When that happens, menopause. But anyway, so we're talking about repurposing, resharing, and redistributing. See, I came back to it. All right. So repurposing, resharing, and redistributing. If you are the brand, if you're the content, if you're the algorithm, the content's already. I made tens of thousands of dollars on Pinterest, leveraging content that was already in my phone. The content's already in your phone. See, a lot of y'all have been sold that you got to go and you got to shoot all this B-roll. The B-roll's already in your phone. At least to get you started. And then when you want to quantum leap to different levels and luxury and high ticket in that, then you can hire and you can do all that other stuff. But in the meantime, the content's already in your phone. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story of Jasmine. Jasmine has made hundreds, multiple 6 figures on Pinterest, uploading old stories and Snapchats of her children to Pinterest because she's a family and lifestyle blogger. And I've literally watched her go from a 2-bedroom where her 2 children, boy and girl, were in the same bedroom to they bought their dream home, all in a matter of months from her content on Pinterest. And she has a blog. Her blog started about her son's, I think it's a congenital, or he had some sort of heart condition and had to have surgeries. And so she started this blog, and now she's got some beautiful children. Their clothing hauls, her entire life, she pins about. And she even has the red check mark now. Okay. Because she got in where she fit in. She blogs about her life. Brunch, where she goes to brunch with her family. Whatever she's making for dinner for her family. Whatever she's buying them to wear to school. Everything. I'm not saying you have to do your total life. I do believe in having some boundaries. But everything about her life, she has found a way to monetize. Because I look at it this way. I can either, and I've done this, make my life centered around someone else's business, or I can build a business centered around my life. That was good. What time is that? Okay, because I'm gonna have to cut that and make that its own little clip. You can either make your life centered around someone else's business, them telling you when to show up to work, when to go home, when you can go on vacation, when you can see your children. Because if you really started to look at it and really understand it, you would understand that when you get a job, them people own you to a degree. Because they own and they control a good chunk of your life. You spend more of your time at their workplace than you do waking hours with your family. Right? There's always this talk about what Black people invented. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was 18, fresh out of high school, and I went to intern at Johnson, we signed paperwork That paperwork said whatever we created and invented while we worked there was theirs. Meaning if we created it on their property using their tools and resources, it was theirs. Now, we're not going to get political because to me, it's not even a political discussion. It's a history discussion. But if people were enslaved, and they were creating things, if they were property, whatever they created was the property of that person. And that's how that person became the quote unquote inventor, when it was actually the enslaved person who created it. And I'm just giving you the parallel here. You can pick it up if you want to or not, right? And even outside of enslavement, when you move to the late 1800s, early 1900s, and things like the telephone, electricity as examples, there's sometimes discussion about who really created them, because, you know, in one case, I think JP Morgan was funding, was it Nikola Tesla or Einstein, right? So nothing changes. Nothing changes. It's all the same stuff, recycled, right? And so if you want to maintain your free agency, you got to learn to gatekeep. You got to learn to put that paywall up. You got to get things signed. You got to protect your business interests. And I have a whole other video that talks about that. But when you show up and you are in employment and you get that W-2, they tell you what work to do, when to do it, how to do it. They tell you when to work, where to work, when you can have off, if you can go to your kids' doctor's appointments. And in a lot of cases, it ain't even a livable wage. Think about that. Right? So you can either build your life around their business, because that's literally what you have to do. You build your life around their business when they can tell you all those things. And yeah, they'll tell you, well, you fill in your personal stuff first and then everything else. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That was one of my biggest headaches, was scheduling, because I wanted everybody to have balance. I wanted everybody to, you know, be able to do the things that they wanted to do when they wanted to do them, with the people they wanted to do them with. However, the needs of the branch always came first, because that's what we signed up for. Or you can build a life that your business is wrapped around. And that's what can happen when you take the power of TikTok and you combine it with the power of Pinterest, right? Because if you are making any kind of money with TikTok Shop, I would definitely encourage you to repurpose and reshare those videos over to Pinterest and also to Amazon Influencer if you're not already. Like, if you're not doing that, you're leaving money on the table. Shoppable video is one of those trends that I talked about, right? Shoppable video is one of those trends. And so what we're going to see going forward is your service providers, along with your personal brands, your influencers, more and more are going to be writing books. They're going to be creating merch and selling merch, because when we talk about the A word, algorithm, one of the reason a lot of your viral people are not that viral on TikTok anymore is because you have to understand that whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, even Pinterest, they only have so much space. I remember like 10 years ago, my good friend was joking about her mom trying to get to the bottom of her Facebook feed. And unless you have a really small number of friends, it's very challenging to get to the end of your Facebook feed. Right? And so you have to know that That's why the algorithm exists in the first place, because you can't possibly see everything that there is to see on the platforms. There's capacity, inventory, so to speak. And so when you understand that, you understand that TikTok carved out a huge chunk of inventory for what makes them money, which is social commerce. TikTok shop, TikTok affiliate. And so, yeah, if you understand the life cycle of a social media platform, it's like the wild, wild west. Keisha and I were talking about this recently when I was on one of her lives and she said something about us meeting on Periscope. I was like, yeah, it was the wild, wild west. We were all there because we knew it was the wild, wild west. It was the land. It was the golden age. It was the land of milk and honey, the opportunities. We knew that was why we wanted to be there, because it was in the wild, wild west phase. But we knew it wouldn't last forever. And it didn't. You have to know that about these platforms. But what happens is each platform, they purposely target young, naive creators who will get on there knowing that if they could become, the top of that platform and make millions. But if they don't have a plan for what happens for when things shift, and if they don't hit the top, if they don't be the one to make millions, what's next? If they still are making some sort of decent income and have some sort of vision and goals, what comes after when the platform shifts? Because it's going to shift, because that's the product life cycle. And I'm not going to go through it because I've gone through it in other videos. So you have to know that it's not going to be wide open in the wild, wild west. And so for TikTok to differentiate themselves, but I think also because they looked at their numbers and they figured it out, they rolled with social commerce. And yeah, people use TikTok for search, but I don't think that's the world they want to be in. It's just a side effect. It's a bonus. It's not what they want to be known for. It's not what they want to take to their investors, because the investors want not only their money back, they want monthly recurring revenue or quarterly recurring revenue or dividends or whatever. But they want more. They want return on their money, not just for their money to be returned, right? And Pinterest has always been a visual inspiration search engine. And they're still figuring some things out, but there's still so much opportunity, right? And depending on what happens with TikTok, and I have my suspicions, it's probably going to be going away. And Pinterest is positioning itself to get its share of what happens when it goes away. And they're doing it quietly, which I love. I love stealthness. They're being very stealth about it. First quarter, they grew their monthly active users by 12 million. They're at nearly 600 million monthly active users, and 40% of all users are Gen Z. And I keep telling you, I'm telling you, that platform right there, with 40% of users being Gen X, where Gen X is where the money resides. I mean, Gen Z, where Gen Z and Gen X, because Gen X is the money generation right now. Where Gen X is, there's money, and where Gen Z is where there is attention. That was good. Gen X is where the money is. Gen Z is where the attention is. So, are you picking up what I'm throwing down? Gen X is where the money is. Gen Z is where the attention is. Where attention goes, energy flows, and money is energetic. Hence, during the panorama, Gen X was one of the fastest growing demographics on TikTok, and that's when all that TikTok money started to be made. You picking up what I'm throwing down? So there's this TikTok to Pinterest pipeline. So your content that is on TikTok, yes, Video is a core strategy in the 5 trends that you need to know, the 5 shifts that are happening in marketing, and video is still king. HubSpot just did a trend report and they talk about it. Video is still king. You can post video on Pinterest if you have not picked that up yet. Right? And in Pin Profitz Mastery and module 4, where we go through the life cycle, not the life cycle, the buyer's journey, the value journey of your ideal client and ascending them, we tell you exactly what type of content to create to get eyeballs. And I'm just gonna throw it out there because it's the same on all platforms. You will get the most views, you will get the most attention with short form video. You will get the most attention with short form video. That is true on Pinterest also. However, if you want to know the type of content that converts the most on Pinterest, you need to join Pin Profitz Mastery. It's only $555 compared to what other courses are out there and what they charge. I did an analysis comparing Pin Profitz Mastery to a huge program from someone else that is cheaper. And ChatGPT, as unbiased as it could be, didn't say that my product was better. It said my product was different. And it told me the strengths of my product compared to the other product. My product goes a lot more in depth, which, you know what? Some people might find that overwhelming, but you also get lifetime access, and it's designed for you to grow into. It's designed for you to grow into. Okay. So, Pin Profitz Mastery is for you if you want to learn the future of marketing. And the future is now, by the way. Pin Profitz Mastery is for you if you're tired of posting content like you're on a hamster wheel going nowhere, and you're putting up content and content and content and nothing's happening. And the reason you have to do that is because the content dies within a few hours of you posting it. Beryl and I talked about this yesterday, right? I was starting to talk about that earlier. The nice thing about Pinterest is you put your content out there and you let it cook. And I've had content that it goes both ways. I've had content that just took off right away and roared. You know what I mean? When I say it roared, leads, traffic for years. Now, that's not typical. Typical is 6 to 18 months. But I've had content that roared for years. I'm talking 3, 4, and in a couple cases, 5 years. The content roared. Thank you, Ashley. The content roared. I mean, like a steamroller, just right? The website is tamirahamilton.com. It's actually on the screen, PPM. Right? And then I've had content that it took a few months. To me, that's typical on Pinterest. You got to put it out there, you optimize it, and then you just let it cook, right? You want to make sure it gets shared to various boards. This is basic stuff. You can see, and that's the thing I need you to understand. Pin Profitz Mastery, what's in there, you ain't going to find on YouTube. You ain't going to find what's in Pin Profitz Mastery on YouTube. That's not going to happen. You know why? Because Tamira S. Hamilton, MBA, created it. I've been in marketing more than most people have been living, even including one of my children. And the other one was just a few months old. I bring the best of it all together, old school, new school, and what ain't even happened yet. I bring it all together. Okay. So that's the beauty of Pin Profitz Mastery, is it's going to teach you how to create content, how to leverage content that is already existing, repurpose it, reshare it, and redistribute it. Let it cook. Glorilla, let it cook, and you never know. You'll just one day your phone is blowing up from the notifications. But I teach you the process, and there are 7 points. And I just created this custom GPT that I'm getting really positive feedback on, right? Because my goal is to take away some of the overwhelm, to take away. I don't want you to hate marketing because I love it. The marketing is awesome. It's fun. It's a beautiful thing. And what I need some of y'all to understand is if you are truly the CEO of your company, marketing is part of your job. If you are truly the CEO of your company and your brand, sales, that you can't get around it. You are never going to scale and grow your business without sales and marketing. And in the beginning, as a startup, you are sales and marketing as the CEO. Some of y'all just want CEO because you think it means being the ultimate boss and you get to tell everybody else what to do. Basically, you want to become the oppressor. Yeah, I said it, right? But you don't really truly understand what it means to be a CEO and to scale a brand, to scale a company, and the role and the hats that you have to wear. You have to know that. It's not just being the boss and wearing a certain suit and looking a certain way and, getting to go to fancy dinners and stuff like that. No, right? I remember during like the financial collapse and that reading about Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase and the phone calls at 3 a.m. with, people in different countries and time zones, right? There's a lot more to being a CEO than the high pay and the esteem, the social esteem. And for whatever reason, y'all see sales and marketing is not that much social esteem. But trust me, when you're in a CEO role, you're doing a lot of selling. You are the marketing. You are the face of the brand. You are the, all that. It's so much more than what you think it is. So that is the key difference. And that was the key motivation behind creating Pin Profitz Mastery, was because 2 years ago when I created it, I was getting really frustrated with Mark. I was beyond frustrated with Mark. And it's not the first time it happens. Every time I get frustrated with Mark, I go all in on Pinterest. And it works for me. In fact, in 2019, when I did it, I went from like being at 1,000 followers for like 5-7 years to 7,000, then 9,000, then 10,000, then 12,000. And at its peak, the algorithm was different then. I was at 3 million monthly views. 3 million monthly views. And I still wouldn't create a Pinterest course. I didn't create the Pinterest course until they allowed for you to link videos out. And that is the beauty of Pinterest. You get to link out, but you can't be linking out to trash. A lot of people are finding their links are no longer working or being hidden because they're linking out to trash. And one thing about me, when you work with me, when you take any of my courses, it's always about quality over quantity, which is why I love Pinterest. It's the quality over the quantity. So if you want to know the difference between TikTok and Pinterest, is number one, longevity of your content. Longevity of your content. 2, the ability to link outside of the platform. I know some people, they're playing with it, they're testing it to be able to link to anything from TikTok, but it's not widespread yet. And TikTok comes with a lot of rules because you got to remember it's from another country. And 3, Pinterest is a lot more stable. It's not being threatened to be kicked out of the country. It's not on its second extension. Pinterest has been around for well over 10 years. It's traded on the US stock market. So there's some stability with Pinterest. It is a fast growing platform, 40% of its users being Gen Z, I think 570 million monthly active users. And they have high income. We're talking six-figure earners. We're talking boss babes. We're talking women who are at the top of their game. We're talking people who are planning, right? The other platforms are I'm here, right? Or what I've done. Pinterest is planning. They are planning for weddings. They are planning for baby showers. They're planning for graduations. They're planning for 50th birthday parties, for 100 birthday parties to celebrate being around 100 years, right? They are planning to start a business. They are planning rebranding. They're planning rebranding their real estate, their office, their marketing. They're planning on rebranding Mary Kay. These are all trending searches on Pinterest. And if you want to know how I know that, you want to get in Pin Profitz Mastery. Right? You want to get in Pin Profitz Mastery. They're planning on their aesthetic room as an esthetician. I know several people who just started esthetician businesses. There are people looking for the esthetician aesthetic, right? They want to know what their aesthetic room should look like, what they should have in there. See, you knew about Pinterest, right? But you thought it was just crafts and do-it-yourself and recipes. But it's not. Pinterest is very positive. It's not doom scrolling. There's not politics. They're very protective of that. They want it to be a positive space. They don't want doom scrolling. They don't want body image issues. So again, if you're in weight loss and weight management, it's not that you can't market it on Pinterest, but you gotta find some solution other than weight, because they don't want their Gen Z and soon to be Gen Alpha users having body image problems. Okay. So I do have to go. I have to get on a Zoom in about 10 minutes. So I have to go, but maybe I'll come back later. But if you have any questions, Vinay had a question on where to find my course, the LINK and my BIO, or it's on the screen, depending on where you are watching. And my inbox is always open, but not for no dookie. Be warned. Don't say I didn't tell you. Bye.